All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about something that, well, pretty much all of us go through, but almost never have the right words for. It's that quiet, sometimes kind of confusing drift that happens in our relationships as we get older. You know, that moment when you realize you just don't connect with someone the way you used to?
I mean, you know that exact feeling, right? You're catching up with an old friend from childhood, maybe a college roommate, someone you once told everything to, and suddenly there's just this gap. The inside jokes don't land quite right. The stories feel like they're from another person's life, and you walk away feeling just a little bit empty, wondering what happened? What went wrong?
And then, almost immediately after that hollow feeling, comes a much, much heavier one: guilt. A voice in your head starts up, and it can be so incredibly harsh, making you second guess your own loyalty, your own character.
We start telling ourselves these stories, right? That we're a bad friend, that we've abandoned someone, or that we're being snooty or judgmental. This feeling of it being our fault is so common. But here's the thing. It's usually based on a complete misunderstanding of what's actually going on under the surface.
So let's just break this down. Look at the difference between that script in our head and the psychological reality. What feels like rejection to us is actually just a natural shift. What we worry is judgment on our part is often just a simple incompatibility of values. What our gut screams is betrayal is actually a sign of personal growth. So that horrible thought, I'm a bad person? No, the reality is much kinder. I'm an evolving person.
So let's actually put a name to this experience, because just knowing this is a real, recognized thing can be such a huge relief. It helps move it out of the I'm a terrible person column and into the this is a normal part of life column. And here it is. This is the key concept for today: identity-based social realignment. It sounds a little academic, but the idea is actually super simple. It's that as we grow, as our careers change, our families grow, our beliefs deepen, our core identity changes. And it only makes sense that as our identity shifts, so do our social needs and the people who can meet those needs.
So how does this realignment actually, happen? Well, it's a pretty logical sequence, usually in 3 steps. First, something causes personal growth. Maybe you get a new job, you pick up a new hobby, you become a parent. That immediately shifts your priorities. Then, step 2, you start to reevaluate, sometimes without even realizing you're doing it, who in your life actually fits with those new priorities. And finally, step 3, the dynamics of your relationship start to change to match that new reality. It's not a big bang, it's a slow, steady process. Okay, now we're getting to the most powerful part of this whole idea: how we can completely reframe this experience. Because this isn't really a story about leaving people behind. It's a story about moving towards yourself. Let's just try on a language shift here. The phrase outgrowing people, it kind of implies you're now above them, right? And that's where all that guilt comes from. But growing into yourself, that's totally different. That's about authenticity. It's an internal journey of becoming more and more aligned with who you truly are. And this, right here, is the absolute core takeaway. If you remember one thing, make it this: it is not betrayal. It is alignment. It's you, consciously or unconsciously, finding connections that vibrate on the same frequency as the person you are today. It's a move toward inner peace, not an act of war. So what does that alignment actually feel like? Well, in a word, it feels like energy. It's when you're around people and you leave feeling filled up, not drained. They're the relationships that just get you, the you of today, not the you from 10 years ago. It's having a social circle that actually reflects and supports the person you've become. So what do we do with all this? It's one thing to understand an idea, but it's another to actually use it. Let's make this something you can take with you today. Here's the bottom line. It is wonderful and so important to honor your past and the people who shaped you. But your friendships and connections today should be a source of strength for the person you are right now. Your time and energy, they're not infinite, and it is more than okay to invest them in connections that feel truly aligned with the you of today. And that leaves us with one last really important question to just sit with for a minute. Seriously, take a moment and think about it. Who are the people in your life that match the you of today? Who sees you, who energizes you, who aligns with the person you are right now? Just knowing who they are, that's the first step to building a sense of belonging that truly, finally fits.